Hey everyone, in this video, we'll uncover the most valuable Abraham Lincoln steel penny and wheat penny you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these Lincoln wheat pennies so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, the 1943 Lincoln steel penny is one of the most fascinating and unique coins in American numismatic history. Unlike the typical copper pennies, this particular coin stands out due to its steel composition, which was a direct result of the wartime economy during World War II. Today, we'll take a closer look at the 1943 Lincoln steel penny, specifically the large date variety without a mint mark, in uncirculated condition with some scratches, and explore its value in the modern collector's market. First, a bit of background. During World War II, copper was a critical material needed for ammunition and other military equipment. To conserve copper, the U.S. Mint made a remarkable decision in 1943 to switch the penny's composition to zinc-coated steel. This change produced the iconic steel cent that year, which is instantly recognizable by its silver-gray color, stark contrast to the traditional reddish copper pennies. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny was minted in massive quantities at all three U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia. The coin features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The large date variety refers to the distinct, more prominent style of the date numerals stamped on the coin's face, which collectors specifically seek due to its subtle design differences compared to the small date variety. Now, the coin's condition plays a huge role in determining its value. The example we're discussing today is uncirculated, meaning it has never been used in everyday transactions and shows no signs of wear on the raised surfaces. However, it does have some scratches, which are common even on uncirculated coins due to handling and storage conditions over time. Despite these minor imperfections, an uncirculated 1943 steel penny is highly desirable to collectors because it retains much of its original mint luster and detail. In terms of rarity, the 1943 steel penny is relatively common compared to other Lincoln cents, with more than 1 billion coins produced that year. However, the uncirculated condition and the large date variety without a mint mark make this particular coin more valuable. Collectors prize these qualities as they represent a pristine example of a historically significant coin. What about its value in today's market? Generally, circulated 1943 steel pennies without mint marks sell for around 25 cents to a few dollars, depending on wear. However, uncirculated examples command a much higher price. A 1943 steel penny large date, no mint mark, in uncirculated condition, even with some scratches, can typically fetch between $20 and $50 in today's market. The price can fluctuate based on the severity of the scratches and overall eye appeal. If the coin is graded by professional services such as PCGs or NGC, it could be worth even more, especially if the grade reflects a higher uncirculated quality like MS63 or above. Collectors often seek certified coins to ensure authenticity and condition, which adds to the coin's resale value. It's also worth mentioning that the steel pennies are magnetic due to their iron content, which is a helpful tool for identifying genuine 1943 steel cents. Because they are made of steel, these coins can rust if exposed to moisture, so proper storage in a dry environment is important to preserve their value and condition. In summary, the 1943 Lincoln steel penny large date without a mint mark in uncirculated condition with some scratches is a valuable and historically significant coin. While not rare in sheer numbers, its unique composition, wartime background, and condition make it a prized piece for many collectors. Its value today typically ranges from $20 to $50, reflecting its status as a collectible item rather than just pocket change. Next up, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark. Found in circulated condition with some scratches. Though millions were made, this humble penny continues to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike. Let's dive into the coin's design, background, and current value in today's collector market. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series began in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first United States coin to feature a real person and set the standard for modern coinage portraiture. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it quickly became an iconic image in American currency, the 1957 penny weir. Focusing on today is one of the last few years in the Wheat series, which ended in 1958 before switching to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design in 1959. This particular coin, dated 1957, does not have a mint mark. That means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Back in those days, coins minted in Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark, unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco. So if your 1957 penny doesn't show a letter under the date, you're looking at a Philadelphia issue. The obverse of the coin features the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Above his head is the national motto in God. We trust, while the word liberty appears to the left of the portrait, and the date 1957 is placed to the right. On the reverse side, you'll find two stylized wheat stalks curving inward along each edge of the coin. These frame the large inscription 1 cent. Followed by United States of America at the top is the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This design remained unchanged for 50 years and is beloved by collectors for its classic simplicity. Now, let's talk about what your 1957 wheat penny is made of. Like other Lincoln wheat cents from the era, it is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper composition gives older pennies their distinct reddish-brown or darker brown tone, depending on age, exposure, and how well they've been stored. Because your coin has some scratches, it's likely it has seen a good deal of circulation, and may show wear in the details of Lincoln's face, hair, and the wheat stalks on the back. Coins like these are generally considered to be in good or fine condition, so what is a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark and in worn condition worth today? In the most common condition, heavily circulated with scratches or discoloration, this coin is generally worth around 3 to 10 cents. Yes, you heard that right. Even though it's over 65 years old, its value is still modest because of the massive mintage. Over 282 million of these pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone in 1957, making it one of the most common wheat pennies out there. However, don't be too quick to dismiss it. Every coin tells a story, and even common coins can be interesting for collectors, especially those who are just starting out or trying to complete a full detachment set of Lincoln wheat cents. Plus, the historical significance of this coin coming from the post-World War II, baby boom era, and the start of the space race adds extra meaning for many people. It's also worth mentioning that rare errors and varieties can sometimes increase the value significantly. While most 1957 pennies are standard strikes, a few examples exist with double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes. If you suspect your coin might have an unusual feature, it could be worth having it checked by a coin expert or submitting it to a coin grading service if you're collecting or storing your 1957 wheat penny. Even in circulated condition, it's best to keep it in a dry, clean environment, ideally inside a coin flip or collector album. Avoid handling it too much, especially with bare hands, as oils and moisture can speed up corrosion or discoloration. And never clean your coins, especially vintage ones. Cleaning can ruin the surface and dramatically reduce collectible value, even if the coin looks shinier afterward, in the end. While your 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark and in scratched condition may not be worth a fortune, it's still a tangible piece of history. It represents a time when pennies had real buying power and a country that was growing rapidly in every sense. Whether you keep it as a memory, add it to a collection, or use it to spark interest in coin collecting, this little coin still has a story to tell. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny with a D. Mint mark is an iconic piece of American numismatic history that holds a special place in many collectors' hearts. This coin not only carries the legacy of one of America's greatest presidents, but also reflects a fascinating era during World War II. Today, we'll dive deep into the story of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny, focusing on the large date variety minted in Denver, in good condition with some scratches, and explore what it's worth in today's market. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse side of the coin features a detailed profile of President Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, which has become one of the most recognized images in American coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the word Liberty, and to the left is the inscription, "In God We Trust." The date, in this case 1944, sits prominently on the right side. The D mint mark below the date indicates that this particular coin was minted at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, you'll find two stalks of wheat framing the outer edges, which is why these pennies are called wheat pennies. The inscriptions: 1 cent and United States of America are centered, with E pluribus unum at the top. The wheat ears symbolize America's agricultural heritage and prosperity during the early 20th century. The year 1944 is especially significant because it was during World War II, interestingly. Most 1944 pennies were made from recycled shell, casings, and other brass materials due to wartime metal rationing. Unlike the steel pennies minted in 1943, the 1944 pennies returned to their traditional copper composition, but with about 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, which slightly differed from earlier copper coins. Now, let's talk about the coin's condition. The example we're discussing today is described as being in good condition with some scratches. Good in coin grading means the coin shows heavy wear, but all major details and lettering remain visible, while scratches do affect the overall aesthetic and may lower the grade. They are typical for coins that have been in circulation for decades. Despite the wear, this coin still maintains enough detail to be identifiable and collectible. How much is this 1944D Lincoln Wheat penny worth today? Due to its high mintage, over 900 million coins produced at the Denver Mint in 1944, this coin is fairly common. In circulated condition, such as good to very fine grades, these pennies typically sell for around 15 to 50 cents. The presence of scratches may place the value toward the lower end of this range. However, the coin still holds a collectible appeal, especially to those completing a date and mint set. Collectors looking for coins in better condition, like extra fine or uncirculated, can expect to pay more. Uncirculated 1944 DPEs can sell for anywhere from $5 to $30 or more, depending on the grade and overall eye appeal. Certification by grading companies like PCGs or NGC can further boost the coin's value, particularly if it achieves a high mint state grade. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is not only a coin, but also a historical artifact that connects us to a pivotal time in American and world history. Its design, composition, and the story behind it make it an essential piece for any collector interested in American coins. In summary, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny with D mint mark in good condition with some scratches is a widely available but still valuable coin in today's market. It typically sells for around 15 to 50 cents depending on wear and eye appeal. While not rare, Its historic significance and role in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series make it an interesting addition to any coin collection. Next up, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This particular coin has no mint mark, features a large date design, and is found in fine condition with some light scratches. It's a humble piece of copper, but like many coins from this era, it carries a rich story and a small but meaningful place in the world of numismatics. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of a long and beloved series of coins that began in 1909. The Wheat Penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was the first U.S. coin to feature an actual historical figure, Abraham Lincoln, rather than the symbolic images used before. The designer, Victor David Brenner, chose to represent the legacy of Lincoln not just through a dignified portrait on the front, but also through a reverse design featuring two stalks of wheat, symbolizing strength and prosperity. Your coin, the 1946 issue without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1946, just 1 year after World War II ended. The U.S. Mint produced over 991 million Lincoln cents in Philadelphia alone, so they're not considered rare. However, finding one in a well-preserved condition still excites collectors, especially as the years go by. More than 7 decades later, these coins remain a tangible piece of post-war American history. This particular coin is described as having a large date, which is a typical style used during this time period, meaning the numbers in the year are bold and easy to read. The coin's absence of a mint mark confirms it was minted in Philadelphia. As that mint did not place identifying marks on their coins at the time, in terms of appearance, the obverse features Lincoln's right-facing profile, with "In God We Trust" arched across the top. The word Liberty is on the left side of the coin, and the date, 1946, is to the right. The reverse displays the iconic wheat stalks, one on each side of the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above that is the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. Now, let's talk about the condition. A fine-grade coin means this 1946 wheat penny has moderate wear. The high points of Lincoln's hair and jaw may be smooth or faded, and the wheat lines on the back might show soft detail. Still, all major elements remain clearly visible, and the coin holds up well under close examination. The scratches mentioned are common for circulated coins. They're signs of the coin's journey through many hands and pockets. While scratches do impact value slightly, they do not erase the historical importance of the piece. In today's coin market, the value of a 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in fine condition typically ranges from 5 to 15 cents. While this may not sound like much, it is still well above face value. And for collectors filling out a complete Lincoln Wheat cent set, it's a necessary and desirable coin. If the coin had been in uncirculated or mint state condition, it could fetch several dollars, especially if certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Of course, there are special varieties and errors that can boost the value significantly. In the 1946 issue, collectors occasionally come across double die obverses or repunch dates, and those errors, even in modest condition, can be worth several dollars to even hundreds, depending on rarity and severity. If you believe your coin may have an error, it's always a smart idea to have it examined by an expert or a reputable coin dealer, for collectors and enthusiasts alike. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than just a small copper coin. It represents the return to peace following the turmoil of World War II, a time when the country was rebuilding and moving forward. It's also one of the more accessible years for collectors who are working on completing a full wheat penny date-tanned mint mark set without breaking the bank. If you plan to keep the coin in your collection, be sure to store it properly. Use a coin flip or a protective sleeve to prevent further scratching or oxidation. Never attempt to clean it. as even gentle cleaning can damage the surface and reduce the value even more than the scratches already present. It's always best to leave the coin in its original, natural state. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with demint mark is one of the classic coins from America's mid-20th century coinage. Despite being a common coin, its age, history, and symbolic design make it a fascinating piece for both new and experienced collectors. Today, we'll explore the background, design, composition, and current market value of the 1952D Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially in bad condition with visible scratches. Let's begin with the design. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features a profile portrait of Lincoln facing right. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust," and to the left of his profile is the word, "Liberty." On the right side is the date 1952, and just below it is the D Mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the coin displays two stalks of wheat along the left and right edges, which give the series its popular nickname Wheat Penny in the center. We see the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America with the Latin motto E pluribus unum along the top. The simplicity and symbolism of the reverse make it one of the most beloved coin designs in U.S. history. Now let's talk about the coin's composition. The 1952D Lincoln Wheat Penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which was the STANDARD alloy used during that era. These coins were struck with a total mintage of over 746 million pieces, making them relatively common even today. The high mintage means that circulated examples, especially those in poor or bad condition, are widely available and not considered rare. In our case, we're looking at a coin described as being in bad condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading terms, bad condition usually refers to a coin that is heavily worn, with many fine details smoothed out from circulation. The scratches add to the overall wear, making it a lower grade coin. You might see a faint outline of Lincoln's image and only partial visibility of the lettering. This is a coin that has clearly seen decades of use in daily transactions. Because of its condition, value of the 1952D penny is fairly low on the collector's market. In bad or poor condition, such coins typically sell for their base copper melt value, which is about 2 to 3 cents. However, even in rough shape, some collectors might still purchase such coins to complete a date and mint mark set, especially if they're just starting out and not concerned with quality. In slightly better grades like good or fine, these coins can reach values of around 5 to 10 cents. For well-preserved, uncirculated examples, especially those graded by third-party grading services like PCGs or NGCs, of value can rise significantly, often ranging from $100 to $200 or more, depending on the grade and overall eye appeal. While the 1952D Lincoln Wheat Penny in bad condition doesn't command high prices, it still has historical value. This coin circulated during the post-World War II boom period in the United States. It was part of a thriving economy where pennies still had true purchasing power. These coins passed through millions of hands, witnessed thousands of stories, and served as a staple in the American pocket change system for decades. For coin enthusiasts, even a heavily worn penny like this one can be a meaningful addition. It's not just about monetary value, it's about the connection to the past, to history, and to everyday American life. Many collectors keep even poor-condition wheat pennies as conversation pieces, educational tools, or family heirlooms. So, in summary, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D Mint mark, featuring a large date and in bad condition with scratches, holds modest market value today, generally between 2 to 3 cents, primarily based on its copper content. While it's not rare or highly valuable in its current state, it still offers historical interest and remains a collectible piece for those who appreciate the legacy of American coinage. Next up, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D Mint mark. Struck at the Denver Mint and found in very fine condition with some scratches. This coin is significant because it represents the final year of the wheat penny design, making it a key piece for collectors. Let's dive into the history, design, and current market value of this fascinating coin. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, which was revolutionary at the time. The wheat stalk reverse design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. This means the 1958 wheat penny is the last of its kind, and coins from this year are especially meaningful to collectors. Your coin, marked with a D Mint mark, was produced at the Denver Mint. In 1958, Denver struck over 580 million pennies, making it one of the more plentiful mint marks of that year. However, despite the high mintage, the 1958D wheat penny still holds special value for collectors because of its status as the final wheat penny issue. On the front, or obverse of the coin, you'll find the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the motto "In God We Trust," with the word liberty to the left and the date 1958 to the right. Just below the mint mark D, the obverse is rich with detail in a very fine condition coin, though some wear and minor scratches may soften the sharpness of Lincoln's facial features and hair. Turning the coin over, the reverse side features the classic wheat stalk design to stylized ears of wheat frame the edges of the coin, with 1 cent and United States of America proudly displayed in the center. Above the denomination is the phrase "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many, a nod to the unity of the United States. Because your coin is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches, it means that while the coin has clearly circulated, much of the original detail remains intact. In coin grading terms, very fine VF means moderate, whereas visible on the highest points. But all major details are clear and defined. Scratches are common on circulated coins, but as long as they aren't deep gouges, they usually don't drastically reduce the coin's value. Speaking of value, you might be wondering what this 1958D Lincoln Wheat Penny is worth today. In very fine condition, these coins generally sell in the range of 25 cents to around $1. Depending on the specific coins, appeal and market demand. Coins with better color, less corrosion, or fewer scratches can reach higher prices, especially if certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC, while the 1958D Wheat Penny is not considered rare. It's a sought-after coin for those completing date and mint mark collections or who simply appreciate the history it represents. Because it's the last year the wheat design was used, it holds a special place in the series and often commands slightly higher premiums than earlier common date pennies in comparable condition. It's also worth noting that errors and varieties from this year can increase the value significantly. For example, double die errors, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can push prices into the tens or even hundreds of dollars. If you suspect your coin may have such an error, it's worth consulting a coin expert or submitting it for professional grading and authentication. If you're planning to keep your 1958D penny, make sure to store it properly. Avoid touching the surfaces directly with your fingers, as oils and dirt can accelerate wear and discoloration. Use coin flips, holders, or albums to protect your coin from environmental damage. And, as always, avoid cleaning the coin, because harsh cleaning can reduce its value by scratching or altering the original surface. In summary, your 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny with D Mint mark, in very fine condition and with some scratches, is a wonderful piece of American numismatic history. Next up, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Without a mint mark, is more than just a small copper coin. It's a tangible piece of American history. Today, we're going to explore this humble coin in detail. We'll talk about its background, design, condition, and its current value in the coin collector's market. So, if you're curious about what this coin might be worth today, stay tuned as we break it all down. Let's begin with the origin of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This series became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin remained in production with its iconic wheat reverse until 1958. The 1950 issue falls right in the middle of this classic era, making it a common yet cherished find for collectors today. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That's why there is no letter beneath the date on the obverse side. The coin features a profile. Portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust," while to the left of his profile is the word "Liberty." The date 1950 sits prominently to the right. This design remained nearly unchanged for decades, reinforcing Lincoln's enduring legacy in American coinage. On the reverse side, we see two stalks of wheat curving along the left and right sides of the coin, hence the nickname Wheat Penny. In the center, you'll find the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum at the top. It's a design that balances symbolism with simplicity and has captivated collectors for generations down now. Let's discuss the coin's composition. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny was made with 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Because of its high copper content, these coins have an intrinsic value even when they are in circulated or damaged condition. However, collector interest usually pushes the price beyond simple metal value. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 272 million of these coins in 1950. That means the coin is not particularly rare. But finding one in very fine condition with most details intact is still a pleasant surprise for collectors, especially if it hasn't been cleaned or excessively worn. Now, let's talk about the condition of this specific coin. It is in very fine condition, meaning moderate wear is present, but most major design features remain clear and well-defined. You may notice some slight flatness on Lincoln's cheek and jaw, and the wheat stalks on the reverse might have slight we're near the tips, but all the lettering and date remain readable and well-formed. While the coin does have some scratches, these are expected in circulated coins and do not significantly detract from its collectible value unless they are severe. So, what is this coin worth in today's market? As of now, a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically sells for 10 to 20 cents. If the coin has fewer scratches and better eye appeal, it might sell closer to the higher end of that range. However, prices can fluctuate slightly depending on demand, the specific appearance of the coin, and the venue in which it's sold, whether that be online auctions, coin shows, or local dealers. Uncirculated examples in mint state condition can be worth several dollars, especially if graded by professional services like PCGs or NGC. Some high-grade examples have even sold for $15 to $30 or more. But in the condition we're focusing on, very fine, with some scratches, the value is more modest. Still, for a coin that's more than 70 years old, that's not bad at all. While the 1950 Wheat Penny may not make you rich, it remains a meaningful piece of American history. It was struck during a time when post-war America was growing, changing, and thriving. This coin may have passed through countless hands, perhaps used to buy a newspaper, a piece of candy, or a bus fare. Each coin tells a story, and this one is no exception. So whether you found this coin in pocket change, inherited it from a family member, or picked it up at a flea market, it's a great addition to any collection. The combination of its age, historical context, and iconic design makes it valuable beyond just dollars and cents. It's a small artifact of American heritage. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, found in good condition with some scratches. While this coin is one of the most common wheat pennies ever minted, it still holds historical and collector interest that's worth knowing. About the Lincoln wheat cent, often simply called the wheat penny, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent quickly became a favorite among the public and has been a cornerstone of American coinage ever since. The 1944 penny, struck during the final year of World War II, carries an important legacy. With the war effort at its peak, copper and other metals were tightly regulated. In 1943, pennies were made from steel coated with zinc to save copper for ammunition. But by 1944, the mint resumed using a copper-based alloy, primarily from recycled shell casings collected from military training grounds to produce pennies. That makes the 1944 Lincoln penny both historically significant and unique in its own way. Your coin, a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on its coins. Over 1.4 billion of these were produced in Philadelphia alone, making it one of the highest mintage coins of the entire wheat cent series. That large production number is one reason why many of these coins are still in circulation today, or found in coin collections across the country. Let's talk about the design. The obverse or front side of the coin features the iconic right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln. Above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," arches along the top rim. To the left of Lincoln's profile is the word liberty, and to the right is the date, 1944. The reverse side shows two stylized wheat stalks curving along the left and right edges of the coin, hence the name wheat penny. Between them are the words 1 cent and United States of America. Just above that is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many. 1. Your 1944 penny is described as being in good condition with some scratches. That means it's circulated and shows noticeable wear. Lincoln's features may be worn down, and the lettering and details on both the front and back might not be sharp. Scratches are common in coins that have passed through many hands over the decades. In the world of coin grading, this would generally place your coin in the good or about good range, still collectible, but not considered high-grade. Now, let's get to what most of you are here for, the value. Because of its high mintage, the 1944 Lincoln penny without mint mark is considered very common. In circulated condition with wear and scratches, it typically sells for around 3 to 5 cents on the collector's market. However, collectors often seek out wheat pennies to complete a full date set, and every coin has its place in history. Even modest coins like this are part of a larger picture that fascinates collectors of all levels. But don't tune out yet, there's always a chance for surprises. Some rare errors from the 1944 penny series are worth serious money. For example, a few pennies were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchettes from 1943. These rare 1944 steel pennies can be worth thousands of dollars if authenticated. So, if your coin is attracted to a magnet, you may have something far more valuable. Even doubled die errors or mistrack examples of this coin can sell for much more than face value. If your coin is a standard copper example with no stray rare errors, and it shows visible wear and scratches, It likely holds sentimental and historical value more than monetary value. Still, it's a meaningful piece of American history, a penny that may have passed through the hands of soldiers, factory workers, and everyday Americans during one of the most important eras in U.S. history. We're diving into the story and value of one of the classic coins of American history, the 1953D Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially in good condition. Let's find out if your 1953 penny is more valuable than you think. The year was 1953. America was experiencing a post-war boom. Dwight D. Eisenhower had just taken office as president, and the Lincoln Wheat Penny continued to be a cornerstone of everyday life. These small copper coins traveled through countless hands, buying candy, newspapers, and even a soda bottle or two. Though 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D Mint mark was minted at the Denver Mint. That little D below the date is your clue. In 1953, the Denver Mint produced an impressive 700 million plus of these pennies, making it one of the more common mintages of the 1950s. On the obverse, or front of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic image has been on US pennies since 1909, marking Lincoln's 100th birthday that year. The reverse of the coin features two stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, giving it the nickname wheat penny or wheat cent. This classic reverse design was used from 1909 until 1958. Now, let's talk about the coin's metal composition. The 1953D Wheat Penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Because of its high copper content, it even has some intrinsic metal value, especially if copper prices rise. The coin we're focusing on today is in good G4 condition. That means the coin has heavy wear. Most details are flat or smooth, but the date and lettering are still clearly visible. While it's not rare in this condition, it still holds collector value, especially for those completing full sets. So what's the value of a 1953D Lincoln Wheat Penny in good condition in today's market? Typically, these coins are worth around 5 cents to 20 cents, which is just slightly above face value due to their copper content and collectible interest. However, value can go up significantly for coins in better condition. In fine F12 condition, it might fetch 30 cents to 50 cents. In extremely fine EF40 condition, it could go up to $1 or more. And if you're lucky enough to have a mint state MS63 or higher example, those can sell between $5 to $15, sometimes even higher if certified by grading services like PCGS or UNGC. Also worth noting, be on the lookout for errors and varieties. Some rare 1953D wheat pennies with double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can command $50 to $200 or more. Depending on rarity and eye appeal, if you have a 1953D penny, handle it with care. Use gloves if possible and avoid cleaning it, as that can destroy its collector value. Store it in a safe place, like a coin flip or album, to preserve it for the long haul. Next up, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny with D Mint mark might seem like just another small coin, but for collectors and history lovers, it represents a significant era in American history. This particular coin, struck during the final year of World War II, carries more than just monetary value. Carries stories, resilience, and a piece of a nation's legacy. In this video, we'll explore the history, features, and current market value of this specific coin in dirty condition with visible scratches. So let's dive in and uncover the journey and value of the 1945D Wheat Penny. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series began in 1909. Created to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see a right-facing portrait of Lincoln. Above his head is the motto "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1945. Beneath the date on this coin is a small D mint mark, which indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse side features two iconic wheat stalks on each side of the coin, which is why it's often referred to as a wheat penny. Between those stalks, the center of the coin reads 1 cent followed by United States of America with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum inscribed along the top. The simplicity of the design is part of its enduring charm, making it instantly recognizable among American coins. When it comes to composition, the 1945D wheat penny was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This standard copper-based alloy gives the coin its traditional reddish-brown tone. Although age, environmental exposure, and wear can affect the color. Since your coin is in dirty condition with scratches, it may appear darker, possibly brown, or blackened in places with loss of original luster. Now, let's look at the mintage. The Denver Mint produced approximately 266,268,000 Lincoln wheat pennies in 1945, making this coin fairly common in terms of total numbers. However, most of those coins were heavily circulated, and finding one in pristine condition is a challenge. Even though your coin is in dirty condition and has some scratches, it still holds collectible value, especially for beginners and budget-conscious collectors. Let's talk about the condition more specifically. A dirty coin with scratches is typically considered to be in a lower grade, perhaps in the range of good to fine. Depending on how severe the wear and damage are, the scratches may affect the coin's overall eye appeal, and dirt or tarnish can obscure design features. However, as long as the date, mint mark, and major details are still visible, the coin remains identifiable and collectible to some degree. So, what is a 1945D Lincoln wheat penny worth in today's market? In lower grades, like good or dirty with scratches, the coin usually sells for around 5 to 15 cents. That might not sound like much, but when you consider the billions of pennies in circulation, only a small fraction from this era are still around, especially with original details intact. Collectors who are trying to complete a full set of Lincoln wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958 will often purchase these lower-grade sticked coins just to fill a slot until they can find a better specimen. Coins in higher grades, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, can sell for $1 to $5, and certified mint state examples can go for even more, sometimes $10 to $50 or higher, especially if the coin has excellent color, luster, and strike. But in today's auction market, a 1945D penny in dirty, scratched condition is usually in the 10 to 25 cent range, especially if sold in bulk with other circulated wheat pennies. Despite the modest value, the real charm of the 1945D Lincoln wheat penny lies in its history. This coin was minted during a pivotal moment in global history, the end of World War II. It may have been carried in the pocket of a soldier returning home, or exchanged for food stamps or a newspaper. Its scratches and dirt tell a silent story of all the hands it has passed through and the life it has witnessed. Collectors often say that every coin has a story, and the 1945D wheat penny is no exception. It's a small copper reminder of an era marked by both hardship and hope. Even if it's not worth a fortune, it has value far beyond the number printed in a price guide. So, if you've got a 1945D Lincoln wheat penny in your hands, even in dirty condition with some wear and scratches, know that you're holding a genuine artifact from America's past. And that, in itself, is something special. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy exploring coin history and values like this, make sure to like the video. Next up, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny with the Denver D Mint mark, large date style, in extra fine condition. If you've got one of these coins or are curious about its historical and collector's value, you're in the right place. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of the beloved wheat cent series, which was minted from 1909 until 1958. This particular coin features the classic design by Victor David Brenner, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse or front, and the two wheat ears on the reverse side. These wheat ears flank the denomination 1 cent and are the defining symbol of this series. Above the denomination is the legend E pluribus unum on the obverse. Along with Lincoln's portrait, you'll find the inscriptions "In God We Trust." Arching along the top, Liberty on the left and the date 1953 to the right. Just above the small d, mint mark indicating this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. This coin we're discussing today comes with a large date variety, which means the numerals in the year 1953 appear slightly more pronounced and spacious compared to small date varieties that exist in some other years. The coin is in extra fine condition, meaning that the major details, like Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, are still sharp and well-defined. Of course, it does have some scratches, which is common for coins that have seen some circulation but still maintain much of their original detail. Now, let's talk about the historical context. The year 1953 was a time of transition in America. Dwight D. Eisenhower had just been inaugurated as president. The Korean War was still ongoing, and the country was experiencing the early stages of the post-World War II economic boom. During this time, coins were a crucial part of daily commerce. Vending machines, payphones, and everyday transactions relied heavily on pennies. So while the 1953 penny may seem small, it played a big role in daily life. In terms of production, the Denver Mint produced over 700 million of these pennies in 1953, a sizable number. Because of this, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is not considered a rare coin in general. However, condition plays a major role in value. Most coins from this year were heavily circulated, and those in higher grades, like extra fine or uncirculated, are more desirable to collectors. A 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny in extra fine condition typically sells for anywhere from 35 cents to $1.25. In today's coin market, however, certain factors can push the price higher. Coins with strong eye appeal, minimal toning, and a bright copper red or red-brown surface often attract premium bids at auctions or from private collectors. That being said, because the coin we're talking about has some visible scratches, that can slightly lower the value, possibly putting it in the 25 cents to 75 cents range, depending on the severity and location of those scratches. On auction platforms, such as eBay or specialized numismatic sites, we've seen examples of scratched, extra-fine 1953 Lincoln pennies sell for just under $1 when properly photographed and described. If you're selling, having the coin professionally graded is often not cost-effective for lower-value wheat pennies like this one, unless you believe it's an extremely high-grade specimen. Still, for coin collectors, the 1953 Wheat Penny remains a key date in assembling a complete Lincoln cent set. It's not the rarest, nor the most valuable, but it holds its own due to its age, design, and the story it tells about 1950s America. If you're a new collector or inherited a coin collection, this is definitely a coin worth holding on to, especially in extra fine condition. It's a great example of what circulated U.S. currency looked like in the early 1950s. And it continues to be a nostalgic and historical piece for coin enthusiasts across the country. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss out on our future videos. Drop a comment below if you have a 1953 penny in your collection. We'd love to hear about its condition and where you found it. Until next time, keep collecting, stay curious, and happy hunting.